Facebook Live. Did you press live on the YouTube one?
Yep.
Is it live?
I think so. Are you getting on the tube?
I'm on the tube. Are you on the Facebook?
Hold tight.
Oh, here we go.
Hang on.
Is it right?
Hang on.
Ooh, what's happening?
Right. We're on.
Hey! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Dramatic entry. Just trying something new. Welcome to the Carpet Grass Club for this Tuesday, the 14th of September. With me, we've got Gibbo, Walt, and Chad.
What's up?
Who is one of our moderators, and if you're watching on the YouTube and you got punted from Fanatics, it's probably him that done it.
Correct.
Soz.
Sauce.
So, how is everyone? Can't hear. Type a comment,
Type a comment.
type a reaction or a question. We'll start off with the world of sport, and as usual, how terrible are the Broncos? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Matt Monday. I expect nothing less, to be honest.
They had a fight, didn't they?
Yeah.
Who
It's all
fought who?
good now.
I didn't see that.
Flagler and Jordan. No. What's the other one? Another new guy.
Ah, right. Not good.
I can't remember. Anyway, they got in a blue on Matt Monday.
Conversely,
The other one had to get stitches, and Tom Flagler won.
how good was South? I was just watching Reynolds the whole game going, how good is
How
this?
good is this?
Broncos can win this. But
Yeah,
still, I think
didn't watch.
the two biggest sporting moments, actually three biggest sporting moments of the weekend. Obviously, the Wallabies, that was just
Unbelievable.
cometh the hour, cometh the man, redemption, king.
Why doesn't Taniela Tupou start?
Yeah,
I've been saying it for a long
100%.
time.
Quade Cooper, what a story.
Not even an Australian citizen.
Yeah.
Still a Kiwi citizen.
So
I'll take
good.
him.
That
And
was just
what else?
Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah,
Yes.
and in
F1.
in Formula 2, Oscar Piastri or something, his name is.
Yeah, right.
He won that.
Yeah.
So
And Dylan Alcott.
I know.
The-
and
Yeah.
Dylan with the gold slam.
Wow. Massive.
Unbelievable.
And then just beers everywhere. You
Yeah.
know, Dylan Alcott sculling beers. And then,
Chris, I'm serving a Facebook ban, so the Facebook stream is under my partner Shell Down, and so if you see Shell live in the Fanatics, that's because I am serving a Facebook ban.
Yeah.
So
Well,
have a
we
look for
won't
that.
go into that, mate.
Hey,
We won't go into that any further.
no, naughty,
He's done a whoopsie.
naughty again. Well, it's your fault
Fourth time.
Yeah.
for the fourth time. Yeah, fourth offence. So yeah, sport. Wallabies were awesome. The pictured sea bass, as usual, one of the purest species of wintergreen, or the original
yeah,
genus of wintergreen that you'll find.
it's probably one of the cheapest wintergreens you can get around. If anyone, should I give him a shout out?
Yeah, go for it.
The bottom line turf supplies, Bobby Cray used to manage, if anyone's ever planted Princess 77 seed, Bobby Cray used to grow that under licensed contract.
Yeah, right.
But they now have like the sea bus wintergreen. I think they sell it for about $4 a square metre.
Really?
Cheap as chips, it's mint quality, and if you ask for the good quality shit, and excuse language, but pay a little bit more, you get it off the sand paddock, which is the same stuff they pull the sea bus gear off.
Yeah, right.
And it's good gear. Yep.
Well, I've had a walk on that field, and it is good. It feels lush under
There's
foot.
also
I kick
a
the shoes off. It's good.
seeded buffalo on the
Yeah, just keep that under your hat.
There's a microphone right there.
yeah.
And Dan Ricciardo. Oh, how good. Led from start to finish.
I know.
9 years it took him to get that podium
Yeah.
for McLaren.
9 years
9
for
years.
McLaren.
For
To
McLaren.
get
For one
yeah,
team.
yeah,
Yeah, right.
3 years for
And
Dan.
2018 Monaco was Danny Rick's last
Yeah.
podium.
That was a great race that he won that at Monaco. That
Yeah.
was-
So how's it, like I'm not, like I don't watch enough Formula 1, but surely if you win a race and you get the mix right for your car, you start winning more races. Surely,
Yeah.
Is that kind of how it
Well,
rolls?
that's where different tracks.
Or is it different tracks?
Different tracks throw
Different
different
tracks,
setups out
conditions,
massively.
weather.
The only thing the same on one, on say a Red Bull to a McLaren is the red stoplight at the back and the size of the wheels. Everything else is different. Everything else is custom made.
Yeah, right.
So,
So in the success
but his
of
driving
saying,
style, he described that moving to a McLaren, if you're a right foot kicker, learning to kick with your left foot,
right,
that's what he was up against.
well,
So
Yeah,
trying
right.
to do that.
that's a crazy skill then.
Because you're obviously right into your racing, Chad.
Yes.
Tell everyone about that a bit. So what you get up to?
So I race sim racing, which is I guess equivalent to esports racing.
Yep.
Every Tuesday night I'm out racing V8 superboats.
Yep.
Spend probably way too much time on that. Probably, I think we do 10 to 20 hours a week of practice,
Okay.
and then
Well,
and then 3 races. So the races can be anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, or we've got actually this Sunday the Bathurst 1000.
Okay.
So I've got 4 nights of qualifying and practice to do from tonight onwards. So
Wow.
it's good fun.
Insane. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot
and
of
so
fun.
you obviously started in like real cars.
Karting.
Yeah.
Starting karting, and then
Yeah.
obviously COVID's hit, and
Yeah.
sim racing has just absolutely boomed.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
broke your arm or something just before COVID or something? Or
During COVID, I shattered
Yeah,
my wrist
yeah.
in 6 places.
Yeah, that's right. I remember.
How did you do that virtual racing?
No, it was that was the I'm going to try and
the
start,
step.
and then
Yeah.
now he's taking out a second mortgage to pay for his sim.
Pretty much, yeah. I've spent way too much.
So you have to buy like a full kit.
Like
kinda.
you buy, there's a like an 80/20 alloy, which is like I guess the extrusion
Yeah.
for the chassis. You buy that, and then you've got pedals, shifters, monitors, steering wheels,
Wow.
wheels.
And it's pretty much
Button
like bang
box.
on like what it would be real. Like it's like simulator style.
It is. We use a program called iRacing, which
Yeah.
is simulated. They use very similar aspects to the V8 supercars, and there's
Wow.
about 20, 30 other cars. All the tracks are 3D scanned. So
Wow.
if there's a bump in the Bathurst, you feel it and whatever else.
Wow.
So
So cool.
yeah,
I think it's
it is
awesome.
awesome.
So what are you racing in? Or what's your car?
There's V8 supercar.
Yeah.
So I race in that majority of the time. There's obviously GTE cars, F2 cars, F1 cars, but when you're driving that particular car, the V8, it's very squirrely in the rear. So if you jump from that to a GTE car and then back to the supercar, it's so easy to loop it.
What
So
is it a brand or is it just
just the Ford and Holden
yeah?
V8 supercars.
Are you
yeah.
Ford or
That's so-
Holden?
I'm Ford.
You can
Nice.
leave.
I don't care. I just buy the car I fit in.
That's right.
Yeah.
So a few years down the track will be like the only Fords and Holdens will be on esports.
That's
You
right.
know?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
See, son, I told you.
Yeah.
We used
I've
to
got
ride around in those.
People are asking Chad, so what is your daily driver?
Ford Ranger, a wild track.
Or a,
Sweet.
or a Ducati.
Yeah.
Ducati, yeah, N99 Panigale.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah, good.
It's good.
But there are like I'm in a team 95 Sim Sports. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
We have 7 sponsors that do give us monetary value.
Well,
They pay for our subscriptions and whatever else, and there's some money that's being thrown around, which is
cool.
awesome. Which is good fun.
So
And do you get right into it and actually wear a helmet and gloves and stuff?
I wear shoes, Sparko shoes and gloves. The gloves are more just for sweat. You sweat a bucket, hey, like you it's crazy. And I've got triple 34-inch screens, so I've got 182 degrees so they go past the seat, so I can see pretty much to the B pillar in those supercars. So if there's
Wow.
someone next to me, I can fully see them. Yeah.
well, that's
so cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I love it.
So that's set up in a room at your place.
Yeah, in my games room. Yeah,
Well,
it takes up probably
Ladies,
2.5
crazy.
square
so
meters.
Bathurst, like, how long do you have to sit in there? Is it similar lengths, like driving lengths?
So
like,
the Bathurst 1000 will
3.5
we
hours
will be
stint or
racing
something?
for 6.5 hours.
and you'll do one, and then you'll have another drive.
I
or-
will do probably depending on fuel usage and stuff.
So good.
we use about I think it's 4.72 liters a lap.
Wow.
It's 110 liters a tank. So you divide that, so
Yeah.
you probably get roughly 28 laps at 2 minutes 5 a lap.
Yeah.
Race laps.
Yeah.
So you're in there for nearly 55 minutes, give or
and
take.
then you. Yeah.
And then
right.
you swap out for your teammate, and then he'll do it. And whilst he's
So do
racing,
they come to your house or they their
No,
sim gets
no.
picked up at their house.
No, they're at their house with
Yeah.
their sim set up, and
Yeah.
it's just a virtual
Pit
Swap
stop.
over.
swap over. So they
Yeah,
add
right.
26 seconds to the pit stop or whatever else. So.
Wow.
So Gary Smell says, in this case, is Chad married?
Yes, he is.
I am actually.
What do you want to know, Gary?
My wife, she's really supportive of this hobby. One good thing is I'm home all the freaking time. Like I rarely
Don't do
leave, to be
anything.
honest. So she
I want
knows
to
where
know
I
what
am.
wheelbase do you use?
The SimiCube Pro 2.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Sweet.
The Pro 2
Hot
something.
tips.
yeah, SimiCube.
Oh,
So
girly.
just give you just heads
Another
up.
world.
The wheel base is $2.5 grand.
Wow.
So
So everyone listening now understands when Walls looking like this is what all of us look at you like all the time.
Yeah.
Ben Cameron just said that. Chad is basically the Wally of virtual racing. Garrett.
Earth AU, Lenny is coming to do my Renault Saturday. Facebook ban Facebook can't get hold of you. Yes, he does. Instagram. Get me on Instagram.
Speaking of Renaults, hot tips for Renault. We're coming into that time. I had a Stormbird calling earlier.
What was this?
Springtime, it's Renault time.
What, does it have its own ringtone?
Those cuckoo, what are they? Those cookies? I don't know the
Yeah.
type of cookie they are. But,
Yeah.
Dad calls them cooler coolers.
So we should maybe run through some. Are you going to put down Sue Grange or Primo? No, neither. I'll actually snuck some shade top sprigs out there to see what happens with them. But that's on the front area that's under the tree, so I don't know what I'm doing with the main lawn. I might just run the cooch again at this stage. Yeah.
Let's see.
So Renault tips. Oh no, we haven't finished with what lawn are you running?
well, it was 240 square meters of buffalo. I tried some weird stuff to get rid of the cooch out of the buffalo. I won't go exactly what I did, but let's just say
It didn't work. Let's say
it,
it killed a lot of stuff.
it was a
We tried.
war of buffalo and cooch, and let's just say I'm now 95% cooch.
Welcome to your new cooch lawn, as we all say.
Yeah, and anyone that has buffalo in the cooch, look, maybe my lawn is a bit different. I'm northeast facing. I was just speaking to Wally earlier about it. Buffalo is very thirsty when it's in full sun, and cooch. Man, cooch in sun, it grows on concrete.
You
It's
have
cool,
selected
hey?
Bermuda grass. You're like, would you like to install buffalo?
Yeah. So,
Yeah, selected Bermuda grass.
so during winter, I've been spraying out the buffalo, really,
Mm.
and now it's predominantly cooch.
It's a good lesson in that though. Like, we have a lot of people installing new lawns and a lot of new developments and a lot of new homeowners, and maybe don't just jump on the train and just put something in.
Well, in saying that, the problem is I spent 3 months hand digging that lawn and
Yeah.
spraying
Yeah.
Roundup. I removed 300 mils, sprayed it again, sprayed it about 4 times, and then imported 300 mil of sandy loam, then put the buffalo on top. Cooch
Yeah,
still
selected
came,
buffalo.
hey,
Yeah.
which is just, it's nuts.
But I think, like, just in that lesson is like, when you're making the decision to install a new lawn, you got to look at your microclimate.
Correct.
You got to look at like your local conditions, how much shade you have.
Look at your neighbour's lawn.
Yeah, go for a walk around your neighbourhood. If there's guys mowing their lawns and you're like, gee, that's a nice lawn, ask them what they're doing to it. And if they're not doing a lot and it looks good, then you go, well, geez, this is probably the one that suits my area.
Yeah.
Yep.
Grows well around here.
For sure.
Yep.
And I'm going to get some sprigs of that when you
Yeah, do your homework.
Craig, hey boys, some goose did his Renault. Oh, that was me. A couple of weeks ago. Thanks. And the Tiff Tuff is roaring back. Thoughts on low dose application of PGR?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
If it's roared back.
I'm mowing 3 days a week at the moment.
Yep, same.
Primo life.
Yeah.
You guys are going good.
I'm waiting for mine to get renovated before I PGR again. Though. That's what I messaged you the other day.
I made the
I'm
other
sick
day.
of mowing 3 times a week.
Well, because I sprayed the rye out, I've just been letting it die off, and so I scalped it the other day with the rotary to try and get rid of the strands of rye that was sticking around, and pretty ugly cooch under there. But I gave it some water and I haven't fed it, and there's green life there. So
I'm doing it. I know I was gonna spray the rye out, but I decided not to. And the reason I decided not to is we've had a couple of warm days in like the past couple of weeks.
Yep.
And
yesterday,
I've been winding the water back, just to see how well the rye handles it, and it just kills quickly. Like we know it, once it gets over 27 degrees, the sap flow in the rye just almost shuts down. So it's like warm season when we go into winter.
Yeah.
It's like rye when you go into summer. It just goes dormant.
yeah,
And so also on like the labels of a lot of herbicides, you got to read the withholding period of when you can resow or whatever. So I want a Queensland Blue front nature strips. I want to sow with Blue Cooch. Also want to use some plugs from Gibbo's Lawn of Aussie Blue. So a bit of a
combo.
bit of a Didactyla Swazilandris mix. Bit of El Clasico. And the withholding period on the herbicide says do not oversow with cool season grass within 6 to 8 weeks of applying this herbicide.
Yeah.
There's no information on warm season, but I hazard a guess that it's probably got some kind of
root.
pre-emergent side effects. So I'm just gonna not spray it and let the heat take it out.
Yeah,
So-
there you go.
So,
Chris is saying thanks to the ICL application stuff. Wally, much appreciated.
No working furries.
yep.
Renault tips. Probably still a couple of weeks away yet for southern states, so I'd be still waiting. Don't get silly and jump on the Renault train yet. Remember, the warmer it is, the quicker your grass recovers. You could do it now, but it'll take this long to recover. But if you wait a month, it'll take this long to recover.
Don't get stuck for that one hot day.
That's right.
That's what I did 4 weeks ago. I dropped mine a notch, and it was like 2 days of heat, and then it was like
Freezing
after.
Those few mornings where it dropped back to like 8-9 degrees.
Sunday was like that, like you're doing my Renault next Wednesday. Calendarized, it's in the calendar. Tuesday, sorry, next Tuesday. And Sunday I was like, standing there with the mower going, oh come on, and I'm like nah.
It takes everything within your solo. Yeah, because mine was a mullet last year. It was just let it go wild at the back and just looked after the front. But it's taken me forever to get it anywhere near being able to be cylinder cut again.
Yeah.
It's finally there.
Oh, mate, I haven't put a cylinder on mine since April.
8 months.
So that's a seed pod from the leopard tree falling on the roof of the rescue truck.
Great.
Excellent.
Great.
Which means when I drive down the road tomorrow, it'll be rattling along the roof.
Here.
So Renault tips. If you got cooch, do whatever you want to it. It'll love it. It'll come back.
Smash it.
Same with
straight in that
Kaiku. We had a question about Kai on the New Zealand Lawn Fanatics the other day.
Yeah.
And it was, should I reno my lawn? And that was actually someone that works for ICL. And I was like, just talk to me. And she asked me, and I said, well, where are you? Near Auckland. And I just said, well, just get your max and min temp, add it together, divide by 2. And if you're above kind of 15 to 17 degrees, like once you start getting above that, you're happy days.
Yeah.
So that's probably the easiest method. Like it goes into like true dormancy sub 10 degrees. It's kind of semi-dormant between 10 to 15 degrees.
Yep.
Once you're kind of getting above 15 degrees, and that's average temperature, it's not like your minimum, it's like your max and min together, then you're safe.
Correct.
Yeah, I've said it before that at the end of the nuclear holocaust and after the zombie plague that follows,
Yeah.
there'll be cockroaches and kaikiu.
Yeah.
That's it.
And Keith Richards.
Yeah. I think that's sad, isn't it? Like the fella passes and you watch those two guys load up for all those years,
Yeah.
and they're still alive.
Yeah.
They reckon there was a sporting bet company in the UK that for a while there was having a bet on who'd die first from heroin was going to be Keith Richards or bloody Nick Cave.
Wow. Yeah.
So
I don't know if it would even affect Keith anymore.
No.
The good
Well,
old,
that
the
people-
good old Robin Williams skit where he says the last 2 things will be on Earth will be a cockroach and Keith Richards sitting around a fire, and Keith Richards will say to the cockroach, "You know I smoked your uncle once." Absolute classic. Absolute classic.
yeah.
What a line.
What else are we doing, Renault? Aerate deep as you can. Get a core up that will go deep if you can.
I think leading into the reno, make sure you got plenty of moisture so you can aerate.
Yeah.
Because like you would have renoed so many lawns in your time where you've turned up and the lawn's rock hard.
Oh.
You know, if you
Yeah.
have wetting agent, get wetting agent like
I see,
2 weeks before. Wet it up. Get some moisture in the
If
ground.
I go to a lawn now and it hasn't been watered, I don't do it. I'll come back another day.
Yeah.
It's not worth the damage to my equipment
Yeah.
to do that. And you get a terrible job if you don't
Yeah.
heavily water for a couple of days before. Not the day of, a couple of days before. You're not going to get a good job. You
Yeah.
won't get penetration, and I'm not going to bash my machines.
Other things that can help your Reno is if you're in that good territory where you know that it's warming up and you're happy to not absolutely like, get hammered on your Reno from a labour point of view, you can actually start dropping your cutting heights now. Start taking material out of your lawn.
That's what I
So on the day you come to Reno time,
Move Wally's box, please.
oh yeah, true. Sorry, boys.
Apparently your Facebook video stopped.
Oh, right.
Hold fire.
Hold fire on Facebook.
Well, last time we did one, we took 980 kilos. That's the dog. Well, you took 980 kilos.
Yeah, that was big. It was a pretty big load, wasn't
That
it?
was huge.
I needed hungry boards on the truck, eh?
Wow.
It was so high.
That's what I was gonna ask. And we'll probably wait till we're backlogged on.
Can you see whether people are saying it's back on Facebook?
It looks like it's back on. It doesn't look like it's.
Is the video playing?
Yeah, it's playing.
People are saying the sound is ordinary on Facebook.
Well, I don't know.
Hopefully that fixes it.
If only there's an IT guy in here.
Yeah.
It's going now.
Sweet.
Yeah, can't you give us any grief? Walking in here
Oh.
with your bloody big attitude and sexy eyes and stuff. Telling us how to do IT. We've been streaming like this bloody skin and bones, zip ties and bloody
Man,
bits of rope.
Contraptions.
Contraptions, yeah.
man, you need to take behind the scenes photo. Just
It's classic.
It is. There's a big going on.
The can
Just blows
the candy greaser. There's masking tape to the roof so the rope doesn't stick.
No, we were talking about Renault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were
right.
just saying that you almost took a full ton of material off your 200.
we actually would have taken a full ton if we didn't re-sprig my front lawn, which
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
And so we were talking in preparedness for Renault. Maybe start getting your material down before you actually hit Renault day. So when you
Yeah.
do Renault, it's actually going to be an easier job. The other question I was going to pose is what, like during the middle of the year, if you are catching or if you're not. I normally don't catch once I start real mowing. But if
No.
you're not, if you are catching, what do people do with their lawn clippings? Do they compost them? Do they have composting methods?
It's stopped again. I know.
I want to put that out to the fanatics because it is a waste issue, you know,
Yeah.
and it's waste off our lawns that's probably really high in nitrogen because we're fertilising and all those things. It's something we should consider
Yeah.
recycling.
So I recycle mine. I've got a lady across the road called Kira Lee, and her whole yard is garden beds, where mine's
Oh, wow.
whole thing is lawns. And so I take it over and I empty it onto a compost pile, and it helps break down everything else. And she's full into she composts everything from her garden,
Wow.
and she takes every bit of it. So in the summertime, when I've PGR'd the hell out of it, there's no clippings for her.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So in the last 3 weeks, I've taken her 6 green bins full
Yeah.
of clippings to her house, and she's loving me again.
Yeah,
Loving
wow.
it. But it is an interesting fact of what people do, because I see people like getting their mower catcher, putting it in black bags and putting it in their normal bin because they
Yeah.
don't want to have to pay for a green bin. I see that in
I
some
just
things.
find, like-
Dave, I'm looking at you.
Obviously
Um,
on small blocks, yeah, it probably makes sense to dispose of it. But if you've got the capability to compost it, then why not?
Just
Like,
mulch, mate.
Yeah.
Vegan wedding confetti. Oh my god.
Was that Gary's on Saturday? He's the king, mate.
Well, he
He's so
said,
good.
"What's a reno tip? I need to know how to start mowing after a renovation. I want to keep it
You know what
around 7 mils."
Gary needs? He needs a set of roller skates so he can stand behind the mowmaster and it just pulls him around.
Yeah.
He had a go on Maui and he's in love. He is in love.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary. We didn't top dress Gary's because he did, like 4 cube on it last year, so he didn't really need to.
Sometimes there's no need. Well,
No.
The only reason
We
is
might go
levels.
back and dust a cube here and there.
Well, it was like
But-
that post the other day, keeping up with the Jones is do we really need to keep top dressing?
Yeah.
And I replied on there, and it depends on your situation. I know I need to top dress again because, well, I had heavy rain unfortunately, and it kind of has like little channels in the lawn, so we'll dust it again. But some of the the pros out there, all they're doing is literally dusting it, and that's
There's a
it.
couple
Like
of
golf greens.
considerations around top dressing in itself. Like, I remember a couple of years back at an ASTMA conference, one of the world leading entomologists was talking about nematodes. Nematodes generally found in sand. He's talking about one of the key, like the fundamental reasons why we have a lot of bowling greens and a lot of turf facilities that have nematode issues is just from a quarantine standpoint of just moving sand around. So that's an interesting consideration. So that's one, like the quarantine issues around top dressing, and also potentially weed seeds and things. But on the flip side of the coin, do you actually need it from an agronomic point of view? Like if you're going to punch holes, what are you trying to achieve? Okay, you probably want more oxygen, you want better drainage. If your soil's heavy, yes, you probably do need sand. If you've got more organic matter, yes, you probably do need sand to dilute that organic matter. If your soil, like if you've soil tested and then your soil type is quite good and your levels are quite good, then your best bet's probably to pull cores, let them air dry and bust them up with the mower, like following. So you probably don't need to top dress with sand. So
That's what we
probably
did at
like,
Gary's.
yeah,
We caught and just smashed them up.
yep.
So he theoretically, you can start mowing as soon as his grass is ready to mow.
It is a dusty job. by the
Yeah.
way.
Oh,
Just heads up.
mate,
I did. I
I'll go through filters like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
You normally just give it like a sprinkle of hand water so you don't, because you got to think sand's really high in silicon. So if you are going to mow, you got to think about your neighbours and think about yourself, because you can get silicosis from hanging around sand dust all the time.
Yeah.
So wear a mask or
Yep.
hand sprinkle your lawn with water.
Well, I always hands do it because the last thing I want, usually I get my reel sharpened right before, and then you get so keen to seal the mow again, and then you forget to water it, and you just suck a whole heap of sand through a perfectly sharpened reel, and you're like, I just ruined
It's pretty much
$250.
pointless.
So like,
Is that why you wanted to borrow my backlapper?
I haven't sanded it yet, Lenny, but I need to borrow your backlapper, yes.
Okay.
I'd just mow
It's
with
been
a
a while.
rotary. Probably
Yeah.
just better off mowing with a rotary. And if you've got a groomer, without mowing it with a real mower, mow it with a rotary and then groom it until you're probably 95% cover. And even then try and avoid as much sand as you can with your real mower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben Cameron, Wally has had 73 syllables in his first sentence of the night. Well done, son. He also composted his clippings on my neighbour's front lawn, just like Gibbo, but they weren't so impressed. I love it.
So, dethatch or scarify, they're different things.
Yep.
So
So is grooming.
it's grooming, it's different. There's three different things there, not the same. So scarify you would do on Kikuyu, you would do it on Cooch, you would do it on Zoysia that's been down for more than 2 years. That's about it really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can dethatch buffalo. A lot of people will skin it back to dirt. I won't. I won't set my blades lower than about 10 mil, plus 10 mil above ground, because I don't want to remove too much of that plant material. That's about it really for that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cooch, Kikuyu, Zoysia, you can set your blades as deep as your scarifier will go.
And if you're scalping,
and
you'll
hooking.
take the back wheels off your mower. Let it zing like an old fly mow.
I suppose with Renault, like obviously all the cultivation methods, the other consideration is like, can you do anything to your soil that's gonna make a drastic change at that point?
Yeah.
Because things like calcium, gypsum, lime, dolomite, like not very mobile in the soil profile. Like generally, you need to create the core hole. Like there's studies have shown that like larger micron size of calcium takes 10 years to migrate 100 mil in a profile. You know, like so think about the quality that you use, because if you get something that's a finer micron, it'll be more quick to get through your profile. but also think about how you use those kinds of amendments. Like you should only put them out around renovation when you've got core holes, so it can actually get into your profile.
Yeah.
So that's the best time to put those products out. It's also the best time to put any kind of amendments out, whether it's like your humic acids, your biostimulants. It's actually a really good time to do a lot of those things, because you basically, when you're putting certain products out, if they get caught in your thatch layer, it's not actually getting to your root zone.
Correct.
So you actually want to get it to your root zone. So that's the reason you.
Well, I remember when I had fairy ring, and I needed to get it certain far into the profile, I caught it first, just so it would actually get in there without me having to spend so much time trying to get it down there.
Quick question. What causes fairy ring?
It's actually
In simple terms.
Good luck.
it's generally a fungi that breaks down organic matter, and it's generally organic matter that's caused, whether it be from root exudate, so like turf grass plant that's like broken down, but it's not breaking down efficiently, and so generally the fungi takes in hold. So you'll see it on often old bowling greens, golf greens, and generally the main reason or main cause of why you see it is they didn't have a renovation program to remove enough of that organic matter to create an environment that's not conducive to a fungi, like that pathogen to take hold.
Mine was exactly in the locations that I cut down trees, where I cut down trees, and then flattened all my soil, and it's also where it has sunk over time. So I've got one spot in my lawn now from where I took a huge poinciana out that has sunk nearly a foot over the last 12 months. Wow. It's crazy.
Yeah,
which is also where I had the
on my nature strip. There's a fairy ring where I cut down a poinciana and stump ground the poinciana, but where I didn't pull like the roots, like the surface roots that would have been out, there's now decaying roots underneath the path. There's a fairy ring where the decaying roots are, and it's basically the root, the disease, essentially, or the fairy ring essentially breaking down that organic matter in the soil. Yep. So generally the cause is like an over accumulation of organic matter. In short, and if you're going to remove that, like if you can remove that efficiently and then dilute with sand, so that's a reason why you would use sand, then it goes a fair way to like preventing fairy ring or reducing the chance that you'll get it.
So my next thing, going back to our reno tips after all this, is types of coring. So obviously there's so many different tines out on the market. If anyone saw me at the ASTMA conference, there was tines bigger than my head with when you're taking photos. The whole
it's 28 inch length tines.
Yeah, huge tines. But there's also now the needle tines you can get, which I saw some really interesting videos of the other day on golf greens, pulling out tiny little cores. But obviously everyone's situation is different, and you need to take that into effect when you go to core your lawn. By hiring a drum roller from a hire company, you're probably only going to get one option, which is a broken core tip, which are 2 centimetre things. If you get a professional in, you're going to get the option of having solid time, needle time. I mean, do you do needle time? Not yet.
Oh, it depends on the surface.
Yeah, that's right.
I've got them. I've got 5 or 6 different types.
Yeah.
Well, did you see my stop motion?
Yeah,
we did with Evie.
Yeah,
that's all the times I'll use. Heaps. I've got ones that are 24 mil inside diameter, which are huge. They're massive.
That's what I want to use in my house.
Yeah. Then I've got the normal ones, which are about 16 mil on the inside. They're the ones I use most of the time. I've got ones that are 6 mil, which are mainly for golf greens. Yeah. I wouldn't use them on a punter's lawn because there's no point. I've got solid tips that are 12 mil. I've got tips that are 6 mil. I've got chisel points.
What are the star ones? What do you call them?
They're X tips.
X tips, yeah. Do not want to get your foot.
No, you wouldn't want to get under an X tip. That's brutal.
We were looking the other day at different core sizings or core diameter sizings, and obviously like the larger the core sizing you go up, the more material you're going to pull out, or the more surface you're going to affect. And I think like you're up at those 24 mil.
It's about, works out, say if you did 100 square meters, it's like 17%
by surface area, and then you go down to the 16s, it's like it's under 10. I think it's 9 or 7 or something.
Yeah, wow.
And so like it's like, okay, well, what do I want to achieve? You know, and you can soil test and work out what percentage organic matter your soil is, and then go, if I'm going to take out 100 square meters and it's going to affect 17%,
Yep.
and you're at, an organic matter of 4 and you want to drop it to 3, then you're going to affect 17% of that 4%. So essentially you might drop it to 3.5 or something, thereabouts.
Yeah.
So the core sizing is going to affect like what it's actually going to achieve based on your soil test.
So this is what I'm getting back to with the whole situation. On the page, everyone's like, don't worry about hiring a professional to do your lawn, just hire it. You're not going to get the same effect of coring your lawn as what you're going to get as getting someone in that knows what they're actually doing. What are you two up to?
We're watching the video of the tines.
Of what?
Of the tines.
Oh,
But I think the other thing is like, how many people actually just dig a hole or take a core or a couple of cores in their backyard and actually look at like what the layering looks like what your mat of turf looks like, what your organic matter looks like, what your roots look like, like are your roots healthy, what it smells like, just simple visual observations about, well then how deep do I need to core to actually make and have an effect
have an impact
on your profile.
When I finish my Facebook ban, I'll put that video on the Facebook.
And it'll also probably tell you how far you need to scalp as well.
Okay.
Like things like that, how far you need to scarify, whether you need to dethatch.
Yep.
Just by taking some cores.
Yep.
Yeah. So the difference for an average punter for a solid tip or a core tip can depend how much their lawn is compacted for me.
Yeah.
So I found from my experience, if I'm trying to push or punch a core tip into the ground that's hard compacted, they bounce off.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it seems like the surface area is too great and you won't get any penetration. So I use a solid tip and get in and just fracture that profile. Even then, sometimes you just don't get in that deep.
Have you done solid tines, like told them to wet it up, solid tines, and gone, keep wetting it up, I'll come back in a few weeks? And then
we did that at my house the very first time.
Because that would work.
We ended up calling Manny because Manny had the aerator that had the solid tines already on it.
That was, now that I've got that Groundsman aerator, I've got a choice.
Yeah, we had the Billy Goat there and we ended up going over it, solid tining it. I wet it up, but it was just so rock hard.
Yeah.
And then we went over it with the core tips afterwards, and the difference in the cores we were getting from when we first tried to do it and the difference after we solid tined it was out of this world different.
So as a renovator, you tell people to wet before you come.
Yep.
There is a chance that you can go too far, too wet.
Yeah.
And becomes a swamp.
Yep.
So how do you know that you've done enough but not enough?
That's why I say don't put any water the day of. Yeah. You should have done the work up until then.
Also, like, do you tell them to do like the old screwdriver test? Like, if you can push a screwdriver in nice and easy, but not like easy, then it's like you lose your screwdriver.
Where did my fish go?
If you got a screwdriver, you get like a 10 peak. It's too hard. You're better off with a rotary hoe at that stage.
Well, it can turn your core into a rotary hoe.
It's like Tony Gregg with his key, mate.
That's right.
If you put the key in and it works, that's right.
And a lot of people say solid tines actually make it compacted around the hole, but I've never seen or used an aerator that does that. That's if it goes directly in and out. No aerator I used does that. They go in and they move when they're in the profile. Yeah. Only needs to move a little bit and it lifts, it fractures.
Drum aerators don't fully alleviate like that though. Like
no, but they're a core. I'm talking about solid tips. But they'll elongate the hole on the way in and then on the way out. But they don't lift the clod that much. But
what about the manual ones though?
No. Manual solid tines probably won't. Unless like if they're your garden fork or that. Unless they're like wobbling it back to forward then pulling it out, they're probably not gonna alleviate much compaction. The USGA did work on this like years ago, and what they found was solid tines worked, but it was on the premise of it was the right alleviation technique, and it was also had to be the right soil types. So like if you were a heavy clay and you weren't alleviating properly, then you probably will result in more compaction. But if you're a higher sand percentage and you alleviate properly, then you'll end up with less compaction after you've done that.
Yeah, agreed.
Because I've never followed my aerator with solid tines, and you're walking on it, you always feel that it's fluffier. The ground's always softer. When I'm walking on it after I've aerated. So
The reason I asked that is
I
because
feel that when I walk on concrete.
yeah, the reason I asked that is because there's a particular company that are selling the 16 mil tines with the solid tines, manual aerator, and I did 100 square meters with the
Saw that the other day.
16 mil. Man, never again. No, that was bad.
Wait till we whip out the Casso one I have at my house.
oh,
We gotta get
It's the best.
video.
mate, you
It's-
should see.
it's a
you
one-
should-
it's a one
it's
only.
two brake discs clamped together with tines in the middle.
U-hooks,
Jesus.
tines in the middle, and it actually punches cores.
Yeah.
Down
So-
it. I wonder. I don't know if I could go bigger, but they're 90. It goes to about 90 mil. But I wonder if I can whack the big boppers on there. I wonder if it would work.
Mm.
I think if it was soft enough, it would.
Yeah, probably.
Be
Going-
hard gun though.
Yeah.
Going to solid tines would be worth it, depending on your soil.
Yeah.
And to me, it depends on the compaction of the soil. Generally, because Brisbane's a floodplain basically. It's a pretty heavy soil.
Yeah.
It's not really that sandy. So, if I'm going to the same place year after year, sometimes I go twice a year to the same place. I know I'm using claw tips
Yeah.
straight away. But if it's someone's house who I've never been to before, often I'm saying we're better off using solids.
Brisbane's got pretty shallow unless you're in like the low-lying like floodplain areas like Oxley and like you are. It's generally alluvial river soil, but it's high in silt. Silt clogs pore spaces of sand and things.
Yeah.
So it while it might appear soft and appear swampy,
Yeah.
when it dries it goes really hard.
Oh, it's like the
Um,
complete, man, digging through
yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff.
And that's because of the silt percentage. So
Yeah.
just a jar test will tell you roughly like what your percentages are. Like putting in a jar, shaking it up, and then you'll get like the settling, and then it'll be like your sand, silt, clay
Yeah.
will settle, and you'll go like just on the depths. You'll go, oh, that sand's X amount, because people have like asked on the page exactly that before. What should I top dress with, or what should I marry with my existing soil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best answer is to either do a jar test or actually do a proper soil test.
Get a
And-
full analytical soil test
Yeah.
done, and it'll show you. It'll tell you what you need to do.
yeah.
They're not expensive.
There's kind of two.
I mean, yes, they do cost money, but they will save you money in the
Yeah.
long run because it'll tell you what you need to
Get
do.
an analytical one and also get a soil physical characteristics test alongside it. So that'll tell you your sand, silt, clay percentage and your particle size distribution.
And again, our member Michelle Dickinson can do all that for you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Benny Cameron again. Alleviation technique. Wally is on fire. Gary's got a question regarding renos. So, what's the go with pre-emergent after renovation? When can you do it?
The studies have shown you can do it before or after. It doesn't matter, but I would do it the day if you're putting down soil wetter and you're putting down fert and you're putting down any amendments. Put down your bloody pre-emergent then and use one lot of water to water it all in.
The whole lot.
Yeah.
Speaking of watering, there's a question from Shell here about watering. She's
That
asking
lunatic.
about watering sprigs.
Why?
currently watering twice a day. When can I drop to once?
That's gonna be a while. I think even watering. I know it's manual watering, but I'm
Yeah.
a big believer in probably 4 to 6 waterings a day when you're trying to water in seed or sprigs, and it's not so much long stints; it's like short stints, but you're just covering the distance,
keeping
like the
it
times
super
between when you
moist.
water, because
Yeah.
you're only watering to like your top 6 mil of your soil,
Correct.
and just that immediate surface, and so basically like.
It also dries out. That's the first bit to dry out super quick without
Yeah,
it.
especially
being underground.
days like today. Like we had a really windy day up here in southeast Queensland. That's actually like if you looked up the ET today, like how dry it was, it'll be dry
Off the
as
charts.
dry today as it'll be in like the middle of summer,
Yeah.
just because of that wind factor.
Yeah.
So when can you wind back? I think the true time to
Another
wind
week.
back is it depends. If your sprigs have set deep enough roots past that initial like wet layer, then you know you can go back to like 3 times a week watering for maybe half an hour at a
There's a
time.
fairly healthy dose of flora
Yeah.
on them.
Yeah.
Is that the last of that?
The last of that bag, mate. That's it.
Perfect.
Whatever you didn't steal out of my bag of flora is
Not
on
the
them
first time I've
sprigs.
stolen stuff out of people's bags, I can tell you that.
And they're So that's it. I don't need to fertilise
So-
them for the rest of the till next year now.
Well, maybe next week drop it to every day.
Yeah.
Week after that to every other day, so
Yeah.
every second day, and then the week after that go 3 times a week,
Yeah.
and then twice a week.
Question from Benny Gordon: what's the most overrated product in the lawn care market?
Potash.
What we were talking about earlier.
What's that?
Eco 88.
Oh no, I probably wouldn't like coinhole it to a product, and I don't think it's overrated. For me, I think biostimulants get marketed like they're these come one, come all. They'll do everything for you, and it detracts from what you really need, like what the key aspects are in turf grass. What does it need? Nutrition, sunlight, water, and oxygen. And so, like, if there's your key priorities, biostimulants are over here. They're probably like 0.1% of what you need to do.
Yeah.
So where the focus for your expenditure and like the good products are, like, and this is like talking the reverse of what your question is, I'd probably focus your money on good nutrition, so good fertilizer. Focus your money on a good wetting agent for moisture management, and focus your money on good protection products to take the competition out from growing your turf grass.
Yep.
And then the last thing is focus your money on good cultivation methods to ensure you get enough oxygen, and also like clearing your trees.
Well,
your
I was
shade and
at a
stuff.
client's house today and aerated her lawn for her, and she's got a cupboard full of chemicals, and I just said, there's five you could use. Pre-emergent, you'd use a celiprin, you would use a soil wetter, you'd use a granular, and then just a biostimulant with maybe a little bit of iron in it.
Yep.
Like that one there.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all you would need.
So
That's all you need.
yeah, I'd agree. Like
Which is the mid-range package from them as well.
Well,
yeah,
I've
without
seen-
giving them a plug, but
I've
yeah, that's-
seen programs in the commercial sector, like golf courses and stuff, that have 17 products, and I've run trials that use 3 products and achieve better quality, deliver a better result with just 3 products, and essentially that's the focus. It's nutrition, moisture management, and maybe a biostimulant if you want.
Yeah.
And then good protection products.
Yep.
You know, so it's keep it simple. And spend your money in the right areas, which are actually going to get you the biggest magnitude
Quality
change.
and
Lenny and I just actually did some content regarding that for someone coming up over the next few days.
Over the next couple of days, when
We'll let you
we're
know
taking
what
over,
happens.
we're taking over some very large Instagram account.
Yeah.
Well,
For me, the most overrated product in the market is stuff that greens up real quick. You know, like those real fast stuff.
Red Bull to a toddler.
Red Bull little tot. You don't like just chucking urea or something or whatever. You want sustained results. You want to feed your grass like this. You don't want that.
Obviously,
This-
urea
that's
has
what I
its
mean.
place after
You
renovation
can- yeah.
and stuff like that. But
but-
people that just throw bags of urea all year round, just trying to make it as green as hell,
I think.
they're the ones doing 4 to 5 green bins of.
Well, I think that's
I'll place
it.
off
Like,
the
there's such a disguise there. Like, it's like you're hiding to nothing. Like, what you might put out of a conventional release pattern might last 4 to 6 weeks. We have access to fertilizer that lasts 4 to 5 months, and so you'll put that fertilizer out at way too high a rate with way too much nitrogen and all the other elements, and it'll last 4 weeks. And you'll have to put it out 4 or 5 times versus something you put out once at the right rate.
It's right beside you there. There's one there.
Right rate, get the right longevity. And from an expenditure point of view, you actually spend less money. From a mowing your lawn point of view, you're not pulling all the clip off. You're not having to recycle. Like, there's not as much material there. Your lawn's better quality. It's better environmentally. It's better on your hip pocket. There's so many advantages to doing, well, one aspect, nutrition better. Conversely, like, we love spraying stuff in knapsacks. Like, we do. You don't have to. You know, like, if you look at what foliar fertilizer does. No, but if you look at what like foliar nutrition does, right? To deliver the right amount that turf grass needs, you might have to spray every fortnight. You can do the same with like the right technology of granular fertilizer again, like once. Whereas in that same time period, you'll spray, you know, if it's again like a 4 to 5 month product, in that same time period, you're probably going to spray 16 times.
Yeah.
You know, over that 4 months, every fortnight, you know.
Me spraying is my zen time.
If you
Yeah,
or
it's satisfying.
8 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you weigh up the time. If time is money,
Yeah,
how long does
correct.
it take you to spray your lawn?
By the time I go from getting my sprayer out, mixing the chems, to then spraying and then cleaning up afterwards effectively is probably 45 to 50 minutes.
How long does it take you to granular fert your lawn?
About 20 minutes in
Okay,
total.
20 minutes. And if you did that over a 4 to 5 month, and you had to do that spray 8 times in
Correct.
4 months, so you got 8 by 50. So let's just say, let's round it to an hour, and let's
Yep.
round your fert up to half an hour. You got half an hour versus 8 hours.
Yep.
Pay yourself. You've just paid for yourself by
Correct.
changing up the way you do things nutritionally.
That means you can do more
then-
around the house for Renee.
But then less
She's
zen
watching.
time.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, more sim time for this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, some
And
people
I'm-
enjoy the act of doing it, but
Yeah.
yeah, if it's a protection product, it's not that enjoyable in the height of summer being suited up.
Correct.
Spraying
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. So when you're wearing the right PPE to be able
Yeah.
to spray it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just food for thought. Like I think it's a great question. What's overrated? I think it's not one thing is overrated. It's probably think about in your mind what would be overrated. Like if you were, I don't know, doing something in a way, look at what you're doing. You know, if you're spraying too much, then look at how you're doing it, why you're doing it. Why do I have to spray as much? You know, that's probably overrated because there's
Yeah.
other stuff out there that can do it better.
Yeah. Someone's saying the effectiveness. Tiff Tough Coast. Thoughts on effectiveness of gypsum for breaking down clay? A few US university studies suggest it's not effective in many circumstances. I would
Correct.
say that would be where a analytical soil test will tell you.
Is Michelle on tonight?
Haven't seen her.
Michelle did
I
a
haven't seen
post
her.
recently about this. Someone asked that question. Oh, I'm going to put gypsum out to break the clay down.
That was 3 days ago.
Yeah, and Michelle answered that post, and that's pretty much the answer you're seeking.
Yeah.
I
If
don't
you
think I
type
have to
gypsum into
rehash
the
it.
search bar,
Yeah.
you will find everything you need to know.
Basically, the
And then
gypsum
some.
won't break the
Yeah.
clay down.
It
Gypsum
was
will,
awesome.
gypsum will add calcium sulfate and magnesium sulfate to your lawn, and you need to do a soil test to work out if you need to add gypsum.
Yeah.
Because you need to look at what your calcium is, what your magnesium is, where your sulfur is.
Yeah.
Do you need to change those elements? Do you need to raise it? Also, do you need some kind of renovation around that to amend with it?
Yep.
So that's probably why you need to use gypsum, probably not to break clay down. It's a very old wives' tale.
So yeah, do the study, do the test, and you'll find out. It's look, it costs you to get a soil test done. I mean, hey,
Thank you very much for that, Lenny.
you're welcome.
Now,
Um,
now Manny's on board with the whole. Maybe you'd have some more time to help Renee out around the house. And she's like, "Yes, Lenny, more washing and folding, please." Manny straight up, here, Renee. Instead of going to Woomera and being super unproductive all weekend, 'cause when I got home, I was unproductive.
I bet you will. I bet you will.
Yeah, double decker over the weekend.
Goodness.
Hurt like hell.
So yeah, get a soil test done. Like it's worth it because you'll make up
They're great.
the cost of that over time in using the right things at the right time. If you've got fungal issues, get a fungal test done. They're not expensive. If you're prepared to pay $200 for a fungicide, get the right one. You know.
Correct.
The
So-
snarlsberries taste like snarlsberries. Snarlsberry.
So we're still running until the end of this month.
Yeah.
The,
Yeah.
through
16
through
days.
Will's company, and it's the comp is being hosted by lawncaresupplies.com.au. So they're also running a 20% off ICL products promo, which is great.
Which
It's
is
confused if you're here. Well, I'll just explain. So it's 20% off ICL products only, but in the program there's other companies' products. So like the Syngentas and I think Syngenta. I think there's a turf culture product in there. I
Yep.
think. There's a
Oh,
couple.
bow and arrow.
Bow and arrow. I think there's a Celiprin, Barricade.
Yep.
We can't discount those because it's not our agency.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not your products.
So when you buy if you buy a program as an example, you got to enter a different discount code, and that gives you 10% off the whole program, and it ends up being pretty much the same as 20% off if you just bought individual ICL products. It's kind of how it works. It's confused a few people. Otherwise, just buy all the individual products, and it'll end up being the same price.
So I also put it someone the other day. They were like, "Oh, But the postage is really expensive from all care supplies. I was like, yeah, but for 20% off your order, that's
It's
covered.
actually not that
Like,
expensive.
It's not.
I designed the program, and at the time I designed it, I looked at every other lawn program on the market in the turf industry. It's actually the cheapest program per 100 square meters cost in use.
Yes, we did that, didn't we? We
Yeah.
sat down and
Yeah, I think it ends up being $330 per 100 square meters,
for a
and
year.
that is full
Per year.
coverage. So that's pre-emergent
Everything.
herbicide, insecticide, nutrition, wetting agents, biostimulants. Like that is, and that will deliver.
That's comprehensive.
If you've seen like LB's lawn, Luke Duke's lawn, both those guys use that program because I want them to test the program on ICL's behalf.
and find the holes if there is any.
Yeah.
And they're super happy.
Well, LB hasn't had to spray a fungicide yet, and he used to spray fungicide pretty
All the
regularly.
time.
And he's really scared of like, do I need to spray a fungicide? And I keep telling him, no, you don't. If you get your nutrition right, and he hasn't sprayed it now since he's been on the program. So
I mean, we when we did that little study, there was some programs out there that are $870
yeah,
per 100 square meters
per year.
per year.
Yeah. So yes, it seems expensive, but that whole package treats. I think it's 330
And that
square
and that
meters.
wasn't. Oh no, that was everything. They got their own.
Yeah, that was everything.
That's
but,
the metachlorprid though. That's not a celeprant.
yeah, you look at that comparably, it's not even close. And then there's obviously other suppliers around.
Yeah.
We all know the names of them. It's still the cheapest for what it is in its class. That top tier program. So
Benny Cameron says, if you buy nothing else during this promo, get Stress Buster. It's magic juice.
It is so good.
He's
I love
such a fan.
It is dead set my favourite product
Oh.
in the world.
I haven't cracked mine yet.
I
I'm
love
just
it.
waiting till after ready.
That
It quickly-
bottle over Stress Buster is my favourite
that
product.
quickly
in the world.
became, it's like one of ICL's now like flagship products. Like it's probably like, it's had like a meteoric rise. Like it's become one of the most researched products. We've done trials like all over the country, Asia, America, Europe. And what's interesting about it is it's actually not that high in analysis, and we don't call it a nutritional product. We call it a biostimulant. It's 7% N and 2% iron, but it greens equivalent to what we're used to in like a 20-0-0 6% iron, 2% mag. It's got amino acids, sugars.
Literally an hour later, you can see a
It
difference in
hums.
colour.
It literally hums.
And your grass actually glows.
If,
like
yeah,
it's
if anyone
so
wants to see it in action, have a look at the NRL games played at Morton Daly Stadium recently. Because that hum of that green was purely off Stress Buster the day before.
That's great tank mix partner with like if you want to use like a pigment dye, if you want to use a Primo like a plant growth regulator, if any kind of foliar feed, then you can use that. But I'd say use that alongside a really good nutritional program.
Someone says, what fert do you recommend? Controlled release fert.
Yeah.
I would recommend, rather than just using a fert, follow a program. Is what I'd say. And just buy something that works for your dollar. You know, like we just said, work out what the cost is per 100 square metres, the stuff that will really work for you. You might not need a 10 or 15, 20 kilo bag of fert. You might only need 4 or 5 kilos. If you've got a small lawn, get a small bag. You don't need to have 20 kilos sitting on your shelf for 5 years.
Do some
Just one
sums.
bag.
Like there's a lot of products state how long they're going to last.
Yeah.
If it says 10 weeks, then you know you're in for probably 5 feeds across a year.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, 5 feeds at that rate, I'll need X amount on my lawn.
Yep.
And then that's going to cost me X amount. What is this going to cost me? You know.
Yep.
You'll probably find that good baseline granular nutrition still cheaper.
Yeah.
It's-
Someone's asking the difference. Same guy. Difference between Tri-Smart and Hydrotain. Is Tri-Smart just a surfactant soil wetter, or does it also retain?
Yeah, so it's in the name. So Tri-Smart's a 3-way soil wetter. So Retain is generally just a moisture retaining agent, from my understanding. Tri-Smart is the most researched soil wetter on the market in the Australian turf industry, if not worldwide. It's had trial work done in the US at University of Arkansas with Doug Karcher, who's like a bit of a guru in wetting agents. Trials here, which I did when I was at STRI. Trials in Europe, like France, UK. Trials in Middle East. And what we know about Tri-Smart is it has the highest loading rate on the market of all other wetting agents, which is why you can go at such a low rate compared to anything else. So 10 litres a hectare is an effective dose, or 100 mils per 100 square metres.
Yeah.
A lot of other things are almost double that label rate,
Some 300.
and so cost in use, they're almost double or 30 or 40% more cost. When,
There's
when
a
you're
there's a
applying
great video. If you just Google if you're on the tubes, look up just H2 Pro Smart Try Smart.
Yeah.
And it's actually a video of how it works and how it breaks the soil profile and how it gets through. It's actually awesome. I showed it to a few people, but I actually showed my partner the other day. Not that she was really interested. As soon as the delivery rocked up, I was like, "This is what I'm about to do," because I was Anyway, it's awesome.
So it is
really
a
does
three-way. So it helps the water spread, helps it penetrate, and then it retains it in the moisture profile.
Yeah.
But it's also blended with humectants that coat it, and then short chain penetrants that help it actually get through and coat all the other soil particles.
So in this content that Lenny and I did for some guys the other day, the first thing they wanted to know our top 5 tips for the average punter, and then shoot some content around it. But the first thing we mentioned was soil wetters and the efficiency it has from the amount of watering you now don't have to do.
Yeah.
Like I did not know about it for the years that I was into grass before I got into the Fanatics. I had no idea that it was actually a thing.
Yeah.
And I used to water so often, and I reckon last year from using soil wetters, my water bill
Dramatically
dropped so much.
reduces.
Oh look,
So much.
as our climate gets drier,
Yeah.
and they predicting it will,
Yeah.
Not this year.
not this year, as our climate
not this year.
generally gets drier, being more efficient with our use of water is going to be important. So
Super important.
water's going to get more expensive to use. So use a good soil wetter, save yourself some money.
The trial that I ran here in Australia actually looked at water saving. So we looked at just irrigating a plot without using a wetting agent at all. And then TriSmart was one of the treatments. There were other competitor wetting agents in there. And we were able to show that just by using TriSmart, you can use 40% less water and achieve better surface turf grass quality. This was on a Tiffy or green, but it was, still 40% less water, better colour, better quality. Localised dry patch was only, it didn't get much above 5% on those treated plots. On the untreated, with 40% more water, there was like 75% dry patch, and it was out of control. So it does show you how effective a good quality wetting agent is, and you can actually save water and find. I often say to people, you can probably save your expenditure on water or your expenditure on the wetting agent just on water savings alone.
That's usually the first question when you have nice lawn out of everyone within the street. How much is your water bill? Well, actually, not that much. It's probably no more than what you have in a family of 4.
Yeah.
Like
Benny Cameron, try smart. You had me at 3-way.
He bought up my scarifier, come down to Golfy, grabbed my scarifier, went home and scarifier. He's got 40 square metres, right? He got 120 kilos of clippings or something out.
Oh, wow.
40 square metres.
Taught it a lesson. Absolutely.
It's the first time I've ever been scarified.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yep.
How
Well-
many mowers does he have?
Oh, he said he's got rid of
7 or 8 or
now.
something. He's done it. He'll have to.
He's got 40 square
He
metres.
said he need to do a proper stock take just to be sure.
Yeah. And we don't want, just in case his missus is watching, we don't want to get him in any trouble. Something that's important for the punters is don't rely on the sky to irrigate products that need irrigation. A lot of product gets wasted relying on the rain. Chris, great. That is great information.
Florida's a good example for that one.
Right now.
Right now,
Philippines.
yep.
Well, it's about being in control of your environment and what applications go on your patch of green. So
Well, obviously it's
put the
something.
products down and
A lot of
irrigate
it's
them
on
in
the
properly.
label too. Like I know, I think Barricade from memory has it tells you how much water to put on post application. I
Yeah.
think
The
it's 6
Celebrant's
to 12
like
minutes.
And
Celebrant's 6
doesn't
mil,
it
so
also
that's why you
also
can
use
20,
slow down
24
together.
mil after application.
Just
for the liquid.
just on that, like anyone that irrigates with retic or just irrigates in general should actually know their mean application
Correct.
rate. So like time there's sprinklers on the lawn
What we'll do is we'll do a video
on how to catch can.
and we'll use the ones that I've got from the Golfy because you've already done the maths on those. So
Yeah.
and
I was going to say,
and
if you're
those
going to try
catch
and do the
cans.
maths on those
was gonna
rednecks.
say-
No, the
Yeah.
catch cans we use for the things I did on the golf greens.
Yeah.
That you can get them from Bunnings. So
Yeah.
if people want to do it, that Wallace worked out the math So all we got to go and buy these, and you can work out how much is falling on your lawn. So we'll do that.
Yeah. The other thing, like, you can get quite clever with it. Like, you can take it from just like your mean application rate to dialing in your irrigation system to have like a. Everyone's got like most irrigation systems have a season adjust.
Yeah.
And so if you know what the height of your irrigation requirement is in summer, that should be your 100% season adjust.
Yeah.
And then every other month should be a ratio to that. So if the middle of January is the hottest, the driest, in it, you have to put on 25 millimeters of water a week, and you know that that's an hour and a half because of your catch can, then you know that your February might be 90%, and 90% equals whatever that is, 22.5 millimeters, you know, and everything's a ratio, and then it's only one measurement you need to work out, or two really, and everything else just falls into place off the back of that.
I think in the next couple of carpet grass series, we might actually talk about that a bit more as we come into storm season, and when is right to apply and when isn't, and before or after a rain event and all that.
We need a whiteboard.
We're running out of time tonight, like we've already done an hour, but we'll definitely hash that for another carpet grass club. I'm pretty sure. What
we should do, and I've been saying, like, part of the programs and things that I've written, and I want to do like fact sheets off the back of them for fanatics, because like we do rehash a lot of info. I think one of the fellas wrote a fact sheet on cultivation methods, but I'd love to write one on the catch can.
Greg Hamilton did that.
That coincides with the video. So it's like the video, post that as a link, we'll talk about it, and then we'll also post the fact sheet as a link, and then like the punters can go, oh, that's how you do it. Yeah,
definitely. All right, well, we're pretty much out of time for tonight, guys. If you have any more questions, send them to me, or Lenny in a few days when he gets off his ban. Send them through a message or on Instagram or whatever.
Send me a message and I'll reply.
And then we can
2.5 days.
Then we can actually use that information to go into the next one rather than waiting for all the questions to come up.
Yeah, cool.
All right.
So he's Gibbo Lunatic. Gibbo _Lunatic
on Instagram.
On Instagram, you're not on Instagram.
Is your OCL thing on
Oh,
Instagram?
we've just started one. I'll find out that handle and I'll.
I need to find it because I was trying to tag the other day.
Are you on the grams?
I am.
Where are you?
Chad Stickles.
Chad Stickles.
Yes, that's like a grade 4 email address. That is so good. That is so good.
Is that your
make
racing
it red
name?
until the very
No. My racing name is actually my real name.
Oh,
yeah.
Damn it. Chad Stickles got the inside. No.
I'm on Instagram at Australian Lawn Fanatics or Lenny Lawler or.
You're gonna close the curtain.
Hey?
Are you gonna close the curtain to close the night?
Yeah. I didn't put it up there.
We need to play the Oscars wrap-up music.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
You're still on camera.
Me.
Yeah, you can still see you.
Good.
We'll have to work with our camera, our curtain a bit better. How good's that? Need to work on our entry and.
How does it stop?